One of the hardest things for me to let go of in this recovery process has been my belief that intelligence was my defining trait. I don't have any hard evidence about my intelligence and the ways that chemotherapy affected it. I don't have an IQ test before and after to see what has changed or hasn't. But I am certain that memory and working memory have been affected, and they are things that I struggle with in chemo brain, and I just haven't recovered completely, in particular in regards to memory and working memory. And this is really hard to deal with when I used to see intelligence as the best trait that I could have, and I admired it so much in other people, and I just wanted to be the most intelligent person in the room if I could click my fingers and wish for certain things for myself. Intelligence and greater intelligence would have been probably one of the first things, or probably the first thing I would have picked for myself. And you know, when I was 1 year into recovery, and then 2, and then now I'm nearly at 3, I kept thinking that if I just spent a bit more time that I would recover completely and my intelligence would come back full force. I'd be able to reach its full capacity that it was before. But I've come to the realization that my brain has changed. Chemotherapy has changed my brain, and not for the better. And then the realization that I probably will never completely recover neurologically. It's not to say that I won't adapt or that I couldn't work on those compromised abilities if I really wanted to, but that would require a lot of work for something that I was born with. I still get emotional about this because it has to do with my self-concept. It has to do with my identity, and how do I redefine that when I defined it in one way for so long. And something I've been working on in this healing process has been redefining what intelligence is, or at least looking at my definition that I had for intelligence, and also my desire to strive for that particular trait and to look at other traits that may be more important to me. I know I can't think as quickly as I used to be able to think, and thus performative displays of intelligence and social situations are hampered by that. I need more time to figure out the problems. I also often need a pen and some paper to figure out problems, but I can still figure them out. But it just takes me longer to do it. And so I don't think my problem solving skills have been affected at all, but it's just the speed in which I solve problems and the amount of things that I can hold in my head. So I need more time to do cognitively complex tasks. But does that mean that I'm dumber? Does that mean that I'm not as smart as I used to be? And I've also been looking into my social circles. Who are the people that I know that I think are smart or intelligent? And what kind of intelligence do they show? What are the things that they do? What are the things that I think make them intelligent? What traits do they have that I admire? And do these people that I think are intelligent and smart, do they have a kind of media definition of intelligence where they're really quick, thinkers, they're able to do calculations really quickly in their mind, things like that, the things that you see in TV, because they are the things that we associate with intelligence. And so I've been thinking about these things to just explore my ideas around intelligence, even if there is a social and cultural definition of intelligence. And I also have to face the thought that maybe I am less intelligent than I was before, even by everyone's definitions of intelligence. What do I do with that? I can't just keep thinking about that and getting upset about it and wanting to cry about it. I can't hold on to that. That doesn't serve me. It doesn't help me be successful. It doesn't help me do the things that I want to do. It just makes me sad, and it makes me feel hopeless. And I shouldn't, because I'm very lucky that the damage that I incurred to my brain is mild. And I know that my struggle with this is more to do with identity. So I need to rework how I view myself and the traits that I decide to define myself by. And so I need to accept that maybe I am less intelligent, but what am I going to do with that fact? The reason why I'm less intelligent is because of cancer and chemotherapy, things that are outside of my control, but I survived them and I'm living okay. So I need to hold on to those positive things. So what I've been trying to do is let go of intelligence, no matter how you define it. I'm trying to embrace wisdom. To me, that feels like something I still have and something that I can nurture in myself, and something I'd be very proud to be, a wise person, or for other people to consider me a wise person. But the trait that I have decided to focus on the most is grit. My ability to be gritty and resilient, to be able to commit myself to things and fight for those things ruthlessly until I get them, to be able to be thrown down to the ground and pick myself back up again. And that's stuff that I had to do when I was going through cancer and going through chemotherapy. I had to be very gritty and I had to focus on that, my ability to survive. And that's not a small trait to have. That is significant. That is something very admirable, and I admire other people who have that. And that is something that I realized when I looked around in my social circles, looking at people that I admired. Really, it came down to grittiness. I really admired people who were resilient, who could be faced with awful things and come back from it and still go for their dreams and still help their families and still do the things that they want to do. And I shouldn't feel ashamed for taking 100 turns to get something right if it takes someone else only 2 turns. You know, maybe those 2 turns is a sign of intelligence, but my ability to do something 100 times and to keep coming back until it gets done, until I learn whatever I'm trying to learn, is a sign of endurance and grit. A book that I found really helpful in this journey and figuring out what trait I really want to focus on and give more attention to and give more energy to was a book by Angela Duckworth. The book is called Grit, and I just picked it up one day because I wanted to learn more about the science of grittiness and resilience and things that I've always admired in other people, but I don't think I ever really took it as a trait that I could have and that it could be one of my more defining traits. And then after reading the book, I realized that I've actually been very gritty in lots of aspects throughout my life, and it's something that I want to nurture. And so that's where I'm at when I think about the damage chemotherapy has done to my brain and the impact it's had on my intelligence. It's stuff that I really struggle with still, but just recently, just in the last couple of weeks, I feel very peaceful about it all. And I don't know, that makes me excited because I don't want to be sad about it. And I want to, you know, reshape my identity in a way that's actually going to serve me and help me. And so if you're really struggling with intelligence or the impact that chemotherapy has had on your mind, I really recommend going through and looking at other traits that you have, other things that are important and admirable and things that you admire in others to nurture in yourself, because intelligence isn't everything. It really isn't. And it's okay to let those things go, and it's okay to change, and it's okay to define yourself by something else. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Please leave your thoughts down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.